Big companies trained people to believe one annoying thing. If your phone, laptop, tractor, or appliance breaks, you are supposed to beg the manufacturer for help. Pay their price, wait their time, use their parts, accept their answer. And if the repair costs almost as much as a new product, congratulations. You have met modern customer service. But that model is starting to crack. Right-to-repair laws are starting to open parts, tools, manuals, and diagnostic information. That sounds like consumer protection. It is, but it is also something else. It is a business opening, because when repair information gets unlocked, broken devices stop being trash. They become inventory. They become leads. They become local services. They become content. They become small businesses that were hard to build when the manufacturer controlled the repair gate. And the strange part is this. The best opportunity may be knowing which broken things are worth fixing, where to get parts, and how to connect owners with help. This is not about becoming a screwdriver wizard overnight. It is about why broken tech could become a money niche again, and where ordinary people might enter before the market gets crowded. First, here is the simple version of right to repair. When you buy a product, you should be able to repair it yourself or choose an independent repair shop. In the United States, this is not one big national law yet. It is a growing patchwork. The Federal Trade Commission has already said it will go after illegal repair restrictions when they hurt consumers or competition. California passed one for electronics and appliances. Colorado expanded access for electronics, farm equipment, and powered wheelchairs. Other states are moving too. The rules depend on the state and product. But the direction is clear. That flips the market. The first money opportunity is local repair specialization, not general repair. General repair is hard. If your business says, "I fix all broken things," you have basically opened a tiny emergency room for cursed electronics. Phones, laptops, printers, smart devices, appliances, batteries, ports, hinges, firmware issues. That is too wide. The smarter move is one boring niche. For example, I replace laptop batteries for remote workers. I fix school device screens. I refurbish business laptops for small offices. More manuals, parts, and tools make narrow repair services easier. The money is in seeing the same broken thing 100 times. That is how repair gets fast. Fast repair becomes margin. The trap is fixing dangerous or regulated equipment without knowing the rules. Do not freestyle with medical devices, vehicles, high-voltage batteries, security systems, or anything dangerous. The second opportunity is device flipping. Most people hear broken laptop and think junk. A repair person hears, what part failed? How common is the failure? How expensive is the replacement? Can I test it quickly? Can I resell it honestly? Parts and documentation reduce guesswork. Imagine buying 10 broken laptops from office cleanouts. Some are dead. Some need a battery. Some are not worth touching. The skill is sorting. Buy underpriced broken items, repair the easy winners, sell honestly, and use the losers for parts. It can become repeatable if you pick a category and learn the failure patterns. The trap is buying mystery junk because it looks cheap. Cheap broken inventory is only cheap if you know the repair math. If you do not know the repair math, it is just a sad pile with screws. The third opportunity is repair content that actually helps. Most repair content has two problems. Either it is too technical for normal people or it is too vague for people who are ready to act. That leaves a gap. A creator can build content around simple repair decisions. Should you repair or replace this? What does this error mean? What should a repair quote include? Which used laptop problems are money pits? Right to repair creates information demand. When people have more repair options, they do not automatically know which option is good. They need a translator. The content can lead to parts affiliates, repair referrals, paid guides, checklists, or consulting. The trap is making fake expert content. If you do not know how to repair the thing, do not pretend. But you can still make buyer guides, quote guides, or local service guides if you research carefully and stay honest. The fourth opportunity is small business device maintenance. This one is less glamorous, which is why it can be better. Small businesses do not care about repair ideology. They care that the register works, the tablet turns on, the printer stops acting possessed, and the laptop does not die before payroll. Restaurants, gyms, salons, warehouses, churches, offices, and local stores all depend on boring devices. They often do not have IT staff. They need someone local who can diagnose, coordinate repair, replace basic parts, keep spares ready, and reduce downtime. The customer does not care about the slogan. The offer could be monthly device checkup for local businesses, used laptop refresh for small teams, backup tablet setup for restaurants. The money comes from reducing downtime. If a business loses sales when a device breaks, paying someone to prevent or fix that problem quickly makes sense. The trap is promising cybersecurity, electrical work, or regulated repair if you are not qualified. Stay in the lane you can actually support. The fifth opportunity is repair navigation. This may be the easiest start for someone who is not a technician yet. People hate repair decisions because every option feels like a trap. The manufacturer says one thing, the local repair shop says another. The online forum says the device is cursed forever. The owner just wants a clean answer. Is this worth repairing? Where can I get a fair quote? What should I not agree to? A repair navigator does not perform the repair. A repair navigator helps people decide. That could be a local service, paid checklist, website, newsletter, or booking page. Start with one category. For example, used laptop repair decision help for students. Phone repair quote review for parents. The money may be small per customer, but trust can compound if people believe you save them from bad repairs. The trap is becoming a middleman with no value. If all you do is search Google for people, nobody needs you. You need a real local directory, price ranges, known shops, part sources, failure patterns, and replacement rules. The sixth opportunity is parts kits. If more people repair devices, they need parts, tools, testing gear, and instructions. A tiny kit can solve one repeated job. Battery replacement kit for this laptop family. Small office spare cable kit. The value is packaging the right items so people do not buy the wrong thing. The trap is quality. Bad parts destroy trust instantly. Now, here is the bigger picture. Right to repair is part of a shift away from disposable ownership. Many products became harder to repair because replacement was profitable. Consumers are tired of replacement cycles. Small businesses are tired of downtime. Governments are worried about waste. Independent shops want fair access. That is why this can become a gold rush. Not a gold rush where everyone gets rich. A gold rush where new service maps appear. Some people will repair. Some will refurbish. Some will teach. Some will sell parts. Some will serve small businesses. Some will specialize in one ugly failure. The ordinary person should not start by buying a workshop full of tools. Start by finding one repeated pain. Pick one device category. Pick one customer group. Pick one repair decision. Then answer 5 questions. What breaks often? Who owns a lot of it? How much does downtime cost them? Are parts and repair information available? Can I help without pretending to be qualified for work I should not touch? If the answer is clear, test a tiny offer. Not a giant company. Tiny offer. I help students decide whether a used laptop is worth repairing. I help local offices refresh old laptops before they buy new ones. I refer phone repairs to trusted local shops and explain the quote. I buy broken devices only in one category I understand. That is how you enter without turning your garage into a museum of dead electronics. The dumb version is chasing every broken thing. The smart version is becoming useful around one repeated repair problem. Right to repair does not mean every product becomes easy to fix. It does not mean every manufacturer will behave nicely. It does not mean every repair is safe or worth doing. But it does mean the wall around repair is getting weaker. And whenever a wall gets weaker, a new market forms around the gap. Broken tech used to mean, throw it away. The next version may be, who knows how to turn this back into value? That person might be a repair shop. It might be a refurbisher. It might be a local guide. It might be a creator. It might be someone who simply learns one boring repair niche before everyone else notices. The opportunity is not fixing everything. The opportunity is understanding what broken things are worth, who needs them fixed, and where the repair gate is opening.